everyone, this is Kerry with Project Nerd coming to you live or afterwards here from the second annual Boulder Film and Brew Festival here at Asher Brewing Company. And this is my favorite interview because I've got Brianna here with tough teeth. Did I get that right?
You did.
Yes. All right, we can just cut and we'll go and we'll do it again and I'll get it wrong so everybody can hear it. But Brianna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank
Yeah?
you.
Is this your first film festival?
It is actually.
Really?
Very
And you came to Asher Brewing Company here in Boulder, Colorado?
I did, from Illinois.
Like real Illinois? Like Chicago, Illinois? Or like
Fake
Indiana, Illinois kind of thing? You know what I'm talking about?
Actually, right on the border of Illinois and Iowa on the Mississippi.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I think what's interesting for me and what our audience hasn't seen or heard yet is this amazing film that you made. So tell us a little bit about Tough Teeth.
Well, Tough Teeth is my senior thesis film from Bradley University. It took me a year to make. It's 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, and I poured my heart and soul into it. All of the directing, character design, animation.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I think that's a key point, right? I mean, for people that haven't seen this, it's an animated film. Why animation? Why did you take that particular type of content on?
Well, I went to school for animation, so that is my major that I graduated with. And I guess I've always really enjoyed drawing and creating characters and bringing them to life on the page. And I believe it was in my sophomore year of high school, I actually met a Disney animator.
Okay.
And it changed my whole perspective on starving artists, So I'm like, I have to pursue this. So found the closest place that I could get an animation degree, and here I am now.
But you got to explain that, because anytime someone says they have to, that's a calling. That's a personal thing, and I feel like it's important to kind of explore that. So why, after meeting this person, did you now go back and say, I have to do this?
Well, and I felt like I had always been really searching for what I was passionate about, like at least in the terms of career.
Okay.
And so I had played around with all these different ideas, and I really love children, I really love animals, and I didn't know where to go, but I had always had this love for drawing and color and all of this. I'd watch cartoons all the time. I just loved it. And so I guess I'd never put two and two together and realized that people make these. Like, people go to school, they learn this software, and they create these characters and entertain people all day long. So I don't know, that just seemed like the right fit for me, and I had to try it.
Well, and more importantly, you did it.
Yeah.
It's one thing when someone tries it and it never actually comes to fruition, but you're actually here with your animated film.
Yes.
And so I want to talk about that, because I think the title doesn't really do it justice, in my opinion, okay? Because when you hear Tough Teeth, there's so many different things that you can think of, especially in animation. But we were talking off camera. I want to make sure we capture it for the people that are obviously going to watch this later. I said it was a crocodile. I believe you corrected me. It's an alligator, or it is a crocodile?
It is a crocodile.
So I was right. So for all the people off camera, there's a lot of audience here. If you guys can't see it, we'll pan. See, there's now they become unruly at this point. But it is a crocodile. But I think what's crazy, right? So if I remember the story correctly, it seems like it's the crocodile's first day of school ever. Like, we'll say kindergarten, right? Is that kind of what you were thinking? Or?
Yeah, I mean, and possibly he's been going to school, but the idea behind all of it is that he loves chomping things. Like, he just goes to school kind of behind his mom's back, and he just chomps everything that he can.
Yeah, I think that's what I kind of saw, was like, it's his first day of school, it's peer pressure, a bunch of other animals, right? And I think it's what's good about animation is you can pretty much, like, it's whatever the audience thinks, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what when you're envisioning this, you obviously had a goal in mind of what you thought and what you put through that animation, but it seems like anybody can watch this and have an idea. Like mine was, it's the first day of school.
Yeah.
He's never been to school before, and now his friends or these new students are, oh, you're a crocodile, you must chomp things. And for a good portion, he's just chomping things. And I think, honestly, my favorite part is how the crocodile, or I don't want to spoil it. I don't know. Should we say it? Like,
Up to you.
We'll say how the crocodile loses his last remaining tooth is, like, one of my favorite parts. But I think the bigger part is obviously what happens after. So when you're creating this content, when you're looking at this and you're creating this amazing story, I think there's two things that I want to call out. One was there was no dialogue, right? It's an animated story, an animated film, but there's no dialogue. There's no talking throughout it. Why did you choose that? It seemed like that was a specific choice, or maybe it was just I didn't have a voice actor, so I just did the old animation. Or why did you do that?
Yeah, I thought that it was a big goal of mine to try and get the points across of this film without any dialogue. I feel like acting lends itself very well to dialogue. The actors get to really show their stuff and put a lot of personality into the roles and in the action. But for an animator, I feel like it's really important to just focus on the action.
Right.
Kind of like that Charlie Chaplin type of feel, like really get across what's going on visually so every single, age group can experience it.
But your bubbles, and I don't know if that's the technical term.
Yeah.
Your call-outs, we'll say, it's probably more technical. But I think your call-outs actually led to what would normally be dialogue.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of gave not only the visual of what was happening, but the visual thought that each particular character was really thinking, or more importantly, not saying, right? Why did you choose to take on like that? Was that a conscious decision, or was that to make sure the audience understood what your particular main character was really kind of trying to capture and trying to think about?
Yeah, I thought that was really the best way, because I did create this film with children in mind.
Okay.
It was a very important thing for me because I really believe strongly in animation that delivers a message or teaches something. And so I wanted it to be for all audience, members, every age, as either a form of entertainment or maybe even a lesson for kids, who might do something behind their mom's back, or just something of that caliber.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, that's how I understood it, and maybe it's just because I'm older and now kind of going through a different chapter in life where it's like you can call back to some of these situations of peer pressure or situations where you maybe were taught, and it looks like in the animation he went back through like being told not to do certain things, and he did it. But I think what was interesting for me, and what I really want to kind of talk through, is the mom character, right? The ability to see how supportive she was, right? And it seems like all what you're saying, these were all conscious decisions with an audience of a younger generation in mind. Why the younger generation? You talked a moment ago about it, but why were you thinking, with animation, where now we see animation going into all age groups, why this particular animation with a younger audience in mind?
I don't know. I guess I love children and animals so much that, I don't know, that's just the direction that I lean towards whenever I make anything. I'm very bad at drawing anything scary.
Okay.
Everything I draw is very rounded and
right
cute.
In your wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the whole reason that I kind of took this direction for my film is, I want to show what I'm capable of for my final film to, potentially job people to, check it out and be like, okay, this is what she's really good at.
Yeah.
So.
And this was your thesis.
Yes.
How I've never went to college, so I'm sorry, but to me, like, I'm thinking of someone at a podium defending their thesis. How do you defend an animation of a 4.5 minute, animation that's meant for a child's mind, in that same, or was that part of it? Or do you just submit it? How did that process work?
Yeah, so we had a class that basically just all of the seniors were in, and that was our class dedicated to our final project. We needed it to graduate, and I felt that we were such a close class, and we were so just Bradley is such a tight-knit group. Right. That my professor he knew me, and he probably just thought, yep, that's Bree, so, yes.
That's awesome. I think, we talk about it. Hopefully we get a chance to all see it. I loved it. I thought it was one of the funniest things that's being shown here because, one, obviously I took the positive message out of it, and I think that that's important nowadays. When you watch something, I'm trying to get something out of it because why else watch something? Right. And I thought the way you lended not only the visuals of the animation, but the lack of dialogue with the call-outs that actually kind of the audience was asking for. But I think more specifically, and what we haven't talked about, is the music, the sounds that went through it. I thought lended so well to kind of everything that you've talked about. And was that, how did you kind of think about all these different sounds or the music or everything in such a short clip? These aren't, nowadays everybody can make things on their phone for 15, 20 minutes. Right. You animated something for a little over 4 minutes, I believe. and you also added a musical element into it.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that you did, or did you kind of find someone that would watch it and kind of do the sounds accordingly?
Yes, I put out an ad on Reddit. They had a subreddit that's for filmmakers, and so I just put it out. I believe I used the term Tom and Jerry esque.
Nice.
So I wanted to channel that because that was a really big influence for me when I was a child. Not only my drawing, but I guess now as well with my animation. But yeah, I loved that idea of the symphony just playing right along to all of the action and goofy moments that were happening in the film. So
that's amazing, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate you taking time to come and hang out with us. You know, I think out of all the films that are here, this definitely kind of like really spoke to me in a way, because I thought it was one of the coolest things. You know,
Yeah.
One, no dialogue. Two, the musical or the composer element that you're talking about, kind of referring back to the old days of my childhood. I'm a little older, so I remember the Tom and Jerry reference, right? So I think that it's really interesting, but I want to give you an opportunity. You know, obviously we've seen it. We're screening it here in Boulder, but is there any opportunity for our audience to take a look at this, or what's the plan? Or was this really just meant to be that thesis and get it out there, and that was for you? Or do you want an audience to really kind of see it?
Yeah, I mean, I love when people see my film and my art. I try and put out as much of my art as I can possibly do so, because I feel like there is an audience for it, and if I can, you know, make their day a little bit brighter with some fun animation or a cute character, I'd love for them to see it. So I put stuff out on my Instagram, my website, and I do have a YouTube that hopefully I'll add some more content to in the future.
Yeah, I feel like a crossover with Peppa the Pig right now. Like,
yeah.
Is that like the cool thing? I don't have kids, so I don't know.
Is
that still
sure.
a thing? I don't know. That's awesome. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for taking the time to come and sit with us. But I want to give, at this point, is there any way they can see you? Is there a website or anything, or any way that we can promote you, or more importantly, maybe what's next? What should our audience be on the lookout for as you continue your career?
Well, I don't have any projects currently in the making. Hopefully I'll dream up a new short film, but for now I'll just be putting out fun characters on my Instagram, and hopefully again adding to my YouTube collection.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I know we're going to link everything, and our audience is definitely going to take a chance. I hope that they get the opportunity to see Tough Teeth, especially as you mentioned the specific audience in mind of who you meant this for. Certainly as a 37-year-old man, I got something out of it, so I feel like anybody can. But all of our Project Nerd fans, this is Kerry coming to you from the 2nd annual Boulder Film Festival here at Asher Brewing Company. We got Brianna with Tough Teeth. Take a look out. Be on the lookout for this thing, and we'll link to all of her stuff. Until then, we'll see you guys.